It wasn't until Prince's album 1999 that he launched into superstardom, and for a good reason. The music on this album defined not only his sound, but the era's. From overtly sexual lyrics and the synth sounds of funk and techno to pump through the club. But would you believe it if I told you that the title track almost didn't see the light of day? The record label enjoyed where Prince was going on this ambitious double album, but believed that the artist needed a song to tie the whole album's meaning together. Although the song title might be referring to the year 1999, to understand this song fully, we have to go back to the early 80s when this album was written. Prince and his band were on tour in the hotel room one night, watching an HBO documentary titled The Man Who Saw Tomorrow. According to the band's drummer, Bobby Z. Rivkin, the documentary was about Nostradamus and his prediction on the end of the world in 1999. Everyone in the band couldn't stop watching, and the next day it became a topic of conversation. In early 1980s thinking, it makes sense that many would believe that the end of the world was coming soon. The Cold War was in full force back then, and everyone, especially Prince, was worried. Both leaders of the US and USSR stockpiled nuclear weapons, and tensions were strong between the two. Finding inspiration from that documentary and the news around him, in the song 1999, Prince amps up these fears and envisions a future, a bleak one, where 18 years later, the clock strikes midnight on the year 2000, and the world ends. The song sets the scene of this nuclear fear at the beginning with lines like, "The sky was purple. There were people running everywhere trying to run from the destruction." But instead of taking a doom and gloom approach, Prince creates a funk-inspired end-of-the-world party musical all in the span of 6 minutes, mixing Sly and the Family Stone influenced male/female backing lyrics that trade off, multi-layered synth instrumentation, and sound effects featuring sexual overtones. And the lyrics continue to paint this theme. Before I let that happen, I'll dance my life away. 2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight, I'm gonna party like it's 1999. Prince explains in those lyrics that although he could concern himself with how he's going to die, he'd rather listen to my body tonight. Even with the danger of nuclear holocaust omnipresent, illustrated best near the end of the song with a modulated high-pitched voice screaming, "Mommy, why does everyone have a bomb?" It comes right after Prince sings about how he's got a lion in his pocket and he's ready to roar. Yeah, he's not subtle about sexual innuendos. From this exchange, we see that despite the end of the world that imminently faces him, Prince shares that it's more important to live in the present rather than dread the future and focus himself on two things: partying and sex. And honestly, what themes could sum up 80s pop music better than that? If you're still a little on the fence about the analysis, Prince confirms all of this in an interview with Larry King in 1999 when he's talking about the song and says, "I found it real ironic how everyone that was around me, whom I thought to be very optimistic people, were dreading those days. And I always knew I'd be cool." Cool is an understatement. Many musicians countlessly attempt to copy this song, from the repurposing of funk grooves to the synth-tastic instrumentation to the themes about partying like it's the end of the world. In doing so, Prince helped create this generation's pop sound, which is no meager task. And for most, this would have been enough. But for Prince, it was a stepping stone to his magnum opus, Purple Rain. However, he couldn't have gotten there if he hadn't defined his sound and the eras without that kick-butt title track, 1999. But what about you? What do you think about this track, its message, and the album at large? With increased worries about the US and Russia, are we due for a song sequel? Have you heard this album in its entirety? What do you think? For me, this album is killer, cover to cover. Yeah, the sound is fresh out of the 80s, but that doesn't stop it from being a really fun album with fantastically written pop music. The first 3 tracks alone get you your money's worth. Let me know your thoughts about this song and album in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. In addition, you can support me monetarily through my Patreon in the description below. Thanks to all those who have already given their support. I can't keep doing this without all of your help. I hope this helps. I love you all.